Hi there. Now, are you constantly, you're one of these people that's constantly chasing productivity, but you feel more exhausted than ever? Whatever you're doing, it's exhausting you. But what if the real key isn't doing more, but actually pausing more? So actually taking more time for yourself. So when you pause, you can actually increase focus, creativity, and well-being. So we're going to talk about that in this video, and I'm going to give you some practical tips that you can use to add pauses into your day and to make yourself more productive. Um, Surprisingly enough. So we're going to, I'm going to start by just talking to you about the unseen cost of when you're constantly pushing, 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 pushing. And I've experienced this firsthand because I've experienced burnout. Now, it's now officially by the World Health Organization, it's officially classified as a workplace syndrome. Um, and it's really important, especially if wherever you're working for, or even if you're running your own business, that you actually consider this because burnout it's one of the worst things to experience. You just feel flat and exhausted and you don't want to do anything. And some of the other symptoms that you'll get is you'll get brain fog. So you can't even think clearly, real irritability and other mood changes. So you just, everything, it's like another thing on top of you. And it could be nothing, but it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. Your creativity is reduced and it affects your sleeping. So then you're more tired because you're not sleeping properly. And so you're just stuck in a downward spiral until you actually stop. And at the moment, we live in like a total hustle culture where it's like more hours, more results, do more, get more done. And I see that's totally different. I teach people that actually we should be looking to work on energy mapping when we're planning our days rather than time blocking. So energy blocking, not time blocking, because we need to know when we've got energy and we've not got energy. And we can factor in our rests in our low energy periods so we can actually actively recover. So if you think about your sports star, I'm a massive football fan. And when I say football, I mean the European football. So what some of you in the world may call soccer, we call football. And one of the things that the players will do after a match is they will have active relaxation in order to help their body to recover. So it's not doing nothing, but they are still resting. And it's the same with in your work day and your work week. You need to factor in your life, because we all have really busy lives as well, factoring in active relaxation. And this is times where you actively rest, and it's not doing something passive. It's not when you flop and do nothing. It's when you actually do something that allows your body to restore and rejuvenate and gives you more energy and ability to go forward. So a little bit of neuroscience bit. When we rest, we activate the brain's default mode network. It's easy for me to say. And this is the part that's really responsible for problem solving and creativity. So when I have low energy times and I allow myself to rest, you would not believe the creative ideas that I come out with. And that then allows me, when I have my high energy, to put some of those things into action. And so it's kind of like responding to your body, and you allow that default mode network to activate. You allow the creativity to come forward. You allow all the problems that you've been mulling over and haven't been able to solve, the solutions often will come to you. And it can be as much as just short little breaks throughout the day can help to improve your focus and memory. Now, I have to say, this is not a good example. I gave up smoking 12 years ago now, 12 to 13 years ago, a long time ago anyway. But when I worked in banking and I did smoke then, my actual cigarette breaks were like little resets. And so they were giving myself the ability to work a lot harder because I was taking every hour 5-minute breaks, and that was resetting everything. And so it's about how you factor. And that one of the things I had to learn from giving up smoking is how to factor in those reset breaks and acknowledging that that was the reset that I liked and not actually the smoking. So factoring in those reset breaks to give myself those energy boosts and that recovery time so that I can keep going. And so they're the micro pauses, and then remembering that it's not passive, it's something you're actually doing. So some ideas of things that you can do to make it very practical. Number one, micro pauses. So these are what I've talked about where in the past I would have had a cigarette. This is now a micro pause you can take where you just stop for 1 to 3 minutes, breathe, focus on your breathing. So take some deep breaths, ideally slow breaths. So you would inhale for 4 and then you would exhale for slightly longer, so for 6. So you take that pause, and then you would do maybe 3 or 4 breaths like that, and then start to tune into what your body's feeling. And I'll just ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? What's going on in my body? What do I need to enable me to carry on? What do I need to help me recover? And tune into that and give your body what it needs. It's just that micro pause, and you can do that. You could do it every hour and give that recovery. Ideally, if you've got meetings, back-to-back meetings, factor in a break time between each meeting so you get this time to tune in, calm down, and reset. You can also, during those times, you can have movement pauses. So you can get up and just walk around. So go outside, walk around the block, come back again, or do some stretching at your desk, or you can actually do some shaking. So really good energy research, just to give everything a really good shake. And you kind of boost the energy, and you're just shifting out some stagnant energy in the body. When we're sat at desks all day, you can really get a lot of stagnant energy hanging around there. So getting up and having a good shake can really help. So those are short micro pauses that you can get into your day. But then you can also think about other things you can do, like transition rituals. So when you come to the end of your workday and you're starting your home mode, maybe you want to do some journaling or set a ritual so that you actually mark that this is a change of pace. This is a change in my life and I'm doing something different. And that helps everything to reset as well. And the other thing is digital detoxes, right? I'm not all for like days and days without your phone, because I think that would make me more anxious than having my phone on me all the time. But it's taking a little bit of time when you're working or you're doing something or you want to rest. So you want to actually have a longer rest period. Maybe it's an hour. Maybe you want to have an hour in the middle of the day. Actually putting your phone out of the room so you're not doom scrolling when you're resting, because that's not resting. And that's the thing, is you think I'm doing nothing, I'm just scrolling on my phone. You're not resting, because your brain is still active and you're still being bombarded with all these things. And actually you're still in that fight or flight hustle mode. So resting needs to be something where you switch off. So if you wanted to have like an hour relaxation and resting and quiet, then put your phone out of the room as well. So you're having a digital detox, you're really resting, you're really recovering, and you're really recuperating. And just work on the reframe, because often we feel guilty when we rest. And I am guilty of this as well. I have struggled in the past to allow myself to rest, which is why I've experienced burnout. And we sort of think that rest is the opposite to work. But if we see rest as part of the work day, as part of our busyness, as part of our life, as allowing us to get stuff done, we reframe it. So if you have that time when you have a rest and you continually building these bits of rest in, and that allows you to have more energy for the time when you are working, you become more productive. And so that rest time is actually what's giving you time back. So it's the opposite to wasted time. It's actually added time into your day. So like I said before, the deep potential of rest are huge. And I mentioned before about innovation and creativity. So you often hear about people having their shower moments when big ideas come when they're in the shower. Because when you're in the shower, you're actually essentially resting. It's that you're just washing your body, you're calm and you're not doing anything. And your mind is starting to switch off. And then all the creativity comes through. So when you are allowing yourself this rest time, you are expanding your creative potential and you're mining your wealth, the depths of your knowledge, right? Because they're all there. But when you hustle all the time, you don't allow space for it to come through. So I'm going to give you an example. Bill Gates has think weeks for deep reflection. So you just think someone like that, to actually allow yourself that time to explore what's going on in your mind, because sometimes I have the best ideas when I'm having a rest day. So obviously I've mentioned before in other videos, but women have monthly cycles, and there's certain days in the month where I just have zero energy, none whatsoever. And I will have a day when I do nothing. And then I'm like halfway through the day and I'm like, oh, I've got to write this down and I've got to write this down. And loads of stuff comes up. So it's really worth having those, even if it's a think hour or a think day. Think week might be a hard push, but having time where you have deep reflection and you just allow yourself to let what comes come. It also allows you, when you actually do this, there are emotional benefits as well, because you'll have more patience and more understanding with others. And it also means that when you then spend time with your family, you can be more present because you've given yourself that time to rest, to pause, and to recenter. And so actually it will improve your relationships, improve how you feel about yourself, and just actually improve the flow of your life. And the other thing is, I said about reflection and creativity, but it also, when you take that step back, it allows you to have more clarity. So sometimes when you're doing all your tasks and you're doing, you don't have time to step back and think, is what I'm doing actually productive? And when you have rest and recovery times, you actually are then able to see more and reflect more on what's going on, and you get more clarity on where you are right now. So there are so many benefits to it. So just like imagine like what workplaces would be like if breaks were treated as normal and not shameful. Um, and that families were connecting without the devices because they're having quiet time. And like having communities that value your well-being over doing. And just remember, we are human beings, not human doings. So taking a bit more time to be can make such a difference. So I'd like to invite you today to choose one intentional pause to try. Just take a break throughout the day and see the impact that it has on you. And just to remember that your worth isn't measured by your output. It's reflected in how intentionally you live. So just remember that no one's going to remember that person did all this extra work for me. That's not what you're going to be remembered by. So just tune into that pause and enjoy life a bit more. So that's it from me. Remember, if you like this video, like and subscribe. And if you want to, I'm going to drop the link below to come and join me in the sacred pause and connect more deeply. I'll see you soon.